Children in the rural towns of Lubumba used to walk miles just to attend school, if they could go at all. Most families couldn't afford school fees, uniforms, or even basic supplies. For decades, education was treated like a privilege, not a right. But that changed when President Yala came to power. She declared that every child in Lubumba, whether from the cities or the smallest village, had the right to a free and quality education. This was a radical shift. For generations, schooling in Africa often meant private institutions for the rich, while the poor were left out. Foreign aid groups built some schools, but they were usually underfunded and understaffed. Wealthy families sent their children abroad or to elite academies, while millions of others were taught under trees or in broken-down classrooms. But President Yala said no more. She made a bold move to nationalize education, creating one unified public system. She began by canceling school fees across the nation. Then she launched a program to build thousands of new schools, especially in rural areas. Every teacher was now a public servant, paid directly by the government and held to strict standards. The goal wasn't just access, but excellence. Under her leadership, Lubumba introduced a new national curriculum rooted in African history, languages, and values, not colonial systems. Students no longer studied only Shakespeare and French kings. They learned about local heroes, African innovations, and the land they lived on. But this wasn't just about textbooks. Yala's plan included free school meals, solar-powered classrooms, and digital tablets for every student. Some called it too ambitious. Foreign donors were skeptical. Critics said the country couldn't afford it. But Yala believed that Lubumba couldn't afford not to. She said, "We are not poor because we lack money. We are poor because we've denied our children the tools to change their future." Her reforms faced resistance. Private school owners protested. Some elites feared losing their status. Global agencies warned of inflation and budget issues. But Yala didn't waver. She stood before the nation and declared, "Our greatest resource is not gold or oil. It is the minds of our children, and we will invest in them." This message sparked hope across the continent. In Nigeria, Kenya, Malawi, young leaders started asking, "If Lubumba can do this, why can't we?" For centuries, Africa's wealth was taken away, its people, its land, and its knowledge. Colonial rulers built schools for a select few, training clerks, not thinkers. Even after independence, the system barely changed. But this was different. Yala wasn't reforming the past, she was building a future. In time, graduation rates soared. Girls who once stayed home now led science fairs and won scholarships. Former child laborers became engineers and teachers. The change was real. Lubumba became a symbol, not just of progress, but of possibility. The world took notice. Some praised it, others feared it. Because what would happen if every African nation followed suit? What if knowledge, not debt or aid, became the path forward? President Yala never promised it would be easy. She simply promised it would be worth it. She called it education justice. And she ended every speech the same way. "This is not charity. This is what our children deserve." And in the hills and cities of Lubumba, children now walk to school not with fear or doubt, but with pride, because someone believed in them and gave them the future they were always owed.